Hey guys, Jim here. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about just kind of one of my little rambling videos, nothing, of any major importance. Kind of turning into Elliot here, huh? Elliot? Am I getting good now? Rambling a little bit? Just a little bit? Except I can't take the camera and turn it to my face, for the dramatic effect and everything. Because I got it all set up on a tripod and shit. But I want to talk a little bit about excitement. Excitement about things to come, things, how excited we get. Sometimes as knife collectors, we get, or collectors of anything really. I mean, because I've gone through this with other things, with the watches, and you got that cool part for your motorcycle that you saved up and bought, or is on the way or whatever. You're just excited about the thought of finally holding in your hands that thing that you've been looking at and you couldn't wait to buy, and you pulled the trigger and it's on the way. Or perhaps you've ordered something or something along those lines. Just that sheer excitement when we kind of start geeking out over the things that we love to collect. And a couple of things I want to talk about in particular. Two knives in particular that I'm excited to see making it to the public eye finally. We're kind of watching, if you're watching these two individuals' channels, you're seeing these things come to life slowly as works in progress. And, they're both limited. All the spaces are already taken. So it's not really to talk to you about their knives and go, oh, this is going to be the greatest thing ever, sorry, you can't have one. It's more of to get the awareness out there so that people realize just how great these guys are, and that in the eventuality that they open up future production, that you don't waste time and that you jump in and get in on that list. And the two individuals I'm talking about are Jeff Tuffthumbz with his upcoming TuffTanic, which he's considering renaming, which I think would be the stupidest thing in the world because there's nothing cooler than that name. And I think it fits that Titanic of a knife that he's building. And Elliot Williamson at Ferrum Forge with his pretty kick-ass little Pretium. And it's also to reflect a little bit on some of the things that I'm excited about, this small selection in my collection that, some are new to me, some I've had for a little while, and I'm rediscovering just how much I love them, like my prototype of the Division. A lot of you guys just started getting these because the production just started, and they've been delivering in the past couple of weeks. I've had mine for, 4 or 5 months now. And it's one of those that I can kind of go back and revisit and go, wow, man, I am so fortunate to be able to own a knife this wicked awesome. But let's talk about those two guys first. First, we'll start with Jeff, with Tuffthumbz, because if Jeff isn't mentioned first, I think it might deflate his ego a little bit. Guys, I'm kidding. For those that don't know, Jeff and I can joke around like that. I'm just slightly less of a dick about it. Anyway, I'm excited about the TuffTanic. I'm in what I call in with the golden 20. He's offering 20. He kind of, just went to his friends and privately offered him and said, hey, if you want the opportunity, I'm going to be making this cool knife. And I was very fortunate to get that call from Jeff. And again, Jeff, thank you so much, because I really do feel honored to be in your little inner circle there of people that get offered goodness right up front. And I jumped at the opportunity. I think it's going to be a fantastic knife. And as I'm watching him in his work in progress from Tanic number 1 to now, we're starting to see the things that he got back, the scales and everything, the precision cutting that's been done. I think this is going to be a knife that's beyond any and all expectations that any of us had. And I think even beyond what he had, because I'm sure as a knife maker, you're going to have a vision of something in your mind and you're going to make it. And sometimes it's going to live up to that vision, and sometimes it's going to exceed that vision. And so other times it may not live up to the expectation that you have anyway. And I look at that knife and go, holy shit. This thing is really going to be something spectacular, something special. And Jeff has already seen some success from doing his Toad series. Blade HQ gets the Toads in, and they don't last but an hour or two. I don't care how many he sends. The damn things just sell completely out. So, it's not like that Jeff needs anybody to pump anybody up about his knives. He certainly has a much larger following than I do. But as a smaller guy, as just a regular knife collector out here in the big old pond, I'm excited. You're going to be getting into something, and I tell you right now, if he does go into a larger production, offers more than those 20 in the next few months, seriously contact him and watch the videos that his prototype has kind of made its way into. He's doing something that I just really never seen anybody do. The blade shape, the way the lock bar cutout was done. He's showing tremendous ingenuity for someone who really is, when you get down to it, a fledgling knife maker. And that's really why I'm excited about this with his project and with Elliot's project. Being able to support people who do what they do for the passion that they have for knives. Not because they're trying to make a name for themselves, not because they're trying to get rich off of it. And God knows you've got to really kind of, it's like a magical, mystical event for a knife maker to have created the right knife at the right time, at the right price, with the right exposure to actually get rich off of knife making. It's not an easy gig, at least from what I gather speaking to my knife maker friends. And they're doing it because they love doing it. The time, the effort, the money, taking a big risk, hoping that somebody is going to like what they've done and buy what they're offering, not knowing if they will or not. And I think it's just fantastic to see somebody out there putting their asses, putting their necks on the line for the passion that they have. I think it's just, it's a brave thing to do. And, I look at guys like Elliot, and with the knowledge that he has and the talent that he has, I mean, this is a guy that can literally hand make a knife, including forging his own steel. And like I mentioned in a previous video, there are not many people, knife makers, that you can say that about. I'm not trying to draw any comparisons with what I have in front of me. I'm just kind of fondling things so that there's some action. And I'm not going to make a comparison between Elliot and Tim Britton, but, a knife sort of like this, Elliot could literally make by hand from scratch. No CNC, no water jet, and that takes a certain degree of talent. And I'm so very fortunate to have learned about him and to have learned about Jeff when I did. I'm going to tell you right now, I've all these things incoming. I literally can't even keep track of them all at this point. Either tomorrow or Monday, I don't know, because dude never sent me a tracking number, but one of those 2 days I'll be getting my next Rockstead. I'm getting the Tie, which is their flagship, so I'm beyond excited. That one's going to have the ZDP 189 blade instead of the black DLC that I have here, so I'm super duper crazy, ridiculously overly excited about that. But I'm excited to see how that Pretium turns out, how that TuffTanic turns out. The Pretium is so, I don't want to call it a basic knife, because by saying that it sounds like it might be somewhat insulting to Elliot. It's certainly not a basic knife, but it's not a knife with a whole bunch of glitz and glamour. It's not a Safe Queen. It's not pretty and showy like, like my Glimpse or like my Phantom Steelworks PF1. It's more like, it's I guess kind of easy to compare it to my Shirogorov, which, by the way, I just got, and I'm on a major honeymoon with this knife. It's the art of being able to make something look simple that really isn't. To actually look through into the minutia of the craftsmanship, the tiniest of little details that make something like this what I consider to be one of the most perfect knives I've ever held in my hands. I mean, it's not flashy, it's not crazy, it doesn't scream, oh my God, look at me, I'm an amazing knife. But yet it is. And you really have to kind of hold it in your hand to really understand that. I didn't fully grasp it until I did. And I really look at the Pretium as being one of those knives. I can see the magic that's coming out of that knife. And that sounds kind of ridiculous and overdramatic, but I don't care what you think. I've had a couple glasses of wine, and I don't care what anybody thinks right now. But I see some sort of magic there. And I think the people that are fortunate enough to have gotten in on that list are going to be so pleasantly surprised, especially considering that, it's really being offered in a mid-tech price range that for the most part, a lot of knife collectors can afford. It's not anywhere near the price level of actually these two. Actually, you know what? The Britain wasn't very expensive either. So it's right there in that price range, like the Tango or the Hati or the Division. It's not insanely expensive, but the workmanship and the creativity that went into it, and I can assure you, when you get that thing, I mean, it's gonna flip like a raging monster. It's gonna have perfect lockup. It's gonna have perfect centering. It's gonna be a handcrafted work of art that most people out there are never gonna even know that knife exists. And while that's a good thing for some of us, I think it's kind of a shame that Elliot isn't bigger than he is. And I've mentioned this before when I was doing a video about, hey, go check out these cool YouTube channels. It's a shame that more people don't know about Elliot. It's a shame that more people don't know the quality of work that he's putting out. I've talked to people that own his knives, and they're just blown away. You can look at in his videos and see the crazy amount of work that he puts into them. And you can hear in his voice the love that he has for it. This is a guy that it sounds to me in his voice that he is working insanely long hours all day, all night. We all know he's an insomniac, or at least a night owl anyway. And he's up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and he seems to like to spend that time in his shop doing work. Because he loves his craft. He loves what he does. There are knife makers out there, and I'm most certainly not going to be mentioning anybody's names, that they do it not as a labor of love, but this is their job. This is their business. This is their way of putting food on the table. This is their way of gaining possibly notoriety, leaving an indelible mark on the world, whatever it may be. But in some fashion, fame and fortune. That may sound a bit grandiose, but, in the essence of what I'm talking about here, I think that fits. And these are two guys that I don't see doing it for those reasons. And I think that's why we're going to continue to see such creativity from these two individuals, why we're going to see such exciting things, and why it's so good to get in on the ground floor. Jeff is really just upstarting here. This is going to be his first frame lock folder. And while Elliot is established and he has a customer base and he has a client list probably as long as my leg, he's still somebody that not a lot of people know about. So, if you get the chance, go over and check out the videos that they have related to those two knives in particular and see what it is that I'm talking about if you haven't already. And if you've considered maybe buying a custom or semi-custom or mid-tech in the upcoming couple of months, instead of pre-ordering with somebody and waiting for 3, 4, 5, 6 months and prepaying, $4, $5, $6, $800, give one of those two guys a shot. If they have an availability to take you on, give one of those two guys a shot. Because I can tell you right now, especially, I don't want to say especially because I'm not going to put one over the other. When I get each in my hands and I'm sitting here doing a video, I know that you're going to feel the excitement that I have. And again, you guys know I don't pull any punches. If something's not right, I come flat out, right out, and say it. I don't care whose name is on the blade. I don't care how much money it costs or how much of a following they have. If something's not right, I'm going to state it. So, I'm expecting them to be amazing. And I know that you're going to feel how I feel. You're going to understand just how great it is. And at that point, it may be too late. So what I say is this. Take a look. Watch their videos. Watch as they're doing the progress on them. Get in touch with them and say, hey, you know what? I know that, there's no availability right now. But on your next run, include me. Deposit, no deposit, whatever it is, whatever their policies are, I don't know. But do it. Support somebody who loves what they do. They're in the mentality of, sure, they could charge twice the amount of money like any big fancy knife maker would do. But it almost seems like they would get more joy from watching somebody making a video using their knife and raving about the quality and fondling it in their hands and going, oh my God, I've got an amazing work of art in my hands and I really feel privileged to own it. I think they would get more joy from that than cashing a big check. And I think that there's something so very rare and special and important about that. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to ramble on and talk about the excitement. You know, as I'm kind of going back and I'm looking through my knife collection, and I've really gotten down to every piece that I have at this point is now a keeper. Nothing that I'm really willing to part with any longer. And I'm kind of going back through, you know, like this and revisiting and going, man, I really take for granted how special this knife is with the way that, you know, Jason contoured this carbon fiber, how round, how perfectly it fits in the hand, how insane it flips. I have still not lubricated this knife. And I know Jason's probably going to kill me for that. But like I said, I got this back in February as the prototype. And I've still not lubricated the knife. I've done nothing to it for maintenance except wiping it down with a tough cloth to keep, you know, any corrosion away from it. I live in Florida, a lot of salty air, a lot of humidity. And it still flips like it did the day I got it. It still feels amazing. I love carrying it on a day where I'm wearing jeans that has a pocket deep enough to accept it. It's just such a joy. And I don't pull it out and play with it every day like a couple of the knives that I have. Like, I can't keep my hands off my Rockstead. You'll only understand that when you've held a Rockstead. But there's something so special about this, and to factor in that he's charging under $400 for the production models, it's insane. I know he's releasing, or just released, like a stealth model where everything is completely blacked out. Black hardware, black blade, black everything, and they look pretty damn sick, and I'm probably going to have to buy one of those. And that's the whole knife guy thing, right? It's not, I think I'll probably get one of those. It's I have to have one. I need to have one. I'm probably going to have to buy one. It's just the way it is. You know, I may have only had my Shirogorov Hati for 2 days now, but I'm still so blown away with it. I can't keep it out of my hands. I can't keep it out of my pocket. I can't stop flipping the damn thing. I just never felt anything so smooth. And to factor in, it doesn't use bearings. It's astounding, the quality of workmanship that they put out. And they consider this a mid-tech. I've picked up custom knives that cost well more than double this that were not this amazingly made. I go back to this, and I've only had this for, I don't know, a little bit less than 2 weeks now. And just wow. And I got to thank Dave again for selling this to me. Just wow. I'm so enamored with it. I even got an email from Tim Britton himself after viewing the video, which I thought was pretty damn awesome. What a super nice guy. This is just a bad to the bone knife. It looks simple. It's a great EDC knife. I don't mind putting a few, you know, marks and scars and wear on it. It's just going to be fun. Yeah, it's still got a break in. I'm actually looking at maybe counterboring the scales and dropping some kind of bearing system in there. I'll talk to Tim about it before I deface a knife that has his name on it first to make sure that he would be cool with that. But I'm seriously considering doing that. So, you know, again, there's so much excitement. There's so many, you know, I keep trying to explain this to my wife. She's like, why is it that you love the knives so much? She goes, I've seen you get excited about certain hobbies and collecting certain things before, but she's like, you're really overboard on the knife thing. I said, you know what, there's so many great people that are involved in this, from other collectors that I've had a chance to converse with now, thanks to starting up my YouTube channel. And the makers who are just, I've still yet to talk to one that wasn't just a really swell dude, you know. And I said, there's the fun of it. You know, my big thing before this was really guns. I'm a big gun fanatic. But you know what? I can't sit on my couch. Again, I have kids. I have a 15-year-old kid and a 5-month-old kid. I can't just sit around on my couch and fiddle with a friggin' firearm. And the most enjoyment that you get out of a gun isn't sitting on your couch dry firing it after you've checked it 3 times to make sure it's unloaded, yada, 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 yada. Got to cover my bases before I get negative comments. You know, it's going out and shooting it, actively shooting it and having fun with it. Well, you know what? That gets damn expensive, and I got to get my lazy ass up off the couch to do it. So while that's a wonderful, great, fun hobby, and I do miss IPSC shooting and stuff like that, I don't have the time these days to make the time and drive up to a gun range and go do that. I don't live out in the country where I can go shoot in my backyard. But you know what? I can sit on my couch when my 5-month-old is nowhere near me, and I can sit there and I can play with my flipper. I can sit there and just play with the knife. I can fondle it. I can stare at it. I can lay it on the couch next to me. I mean, little things like that. There's something about the knife collecting that's just so cool. I can carry this in my pocket every single day. I pull it out at work, and I use it at work all the time. You guys know that. It doesn't scare people. Oh my God, if I took a gun to work and started whipping it out and started playing with it, I wouldn't have a job anymore. You know, this is still a deadly weapon when you get down to it, but there's something, I don't know, it's somewhat, a little bit more socially acceptable, I suppose. And like I said, the people I've had a chance to talk to that are into the same things, you guys are just awesome. And again, I thank all my subs. You guys are really great. I love reading your comments and responses and great questions and answers. I'm going to cut this off here because now I'm really going off into an Elliot-style ramble. But I just kind of wanted to get that out there. Support the little guys as long as they're, you know, little guys making quality. And watch them grow and watch the exciting things that they're going to be doing in the future. I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you guys for watching. And again, it was pretty pointless, but hopefully you stuck around for the whole thing.